Hello friends, Jay the Silent Cartographer here. Whew. Yesterday was a long day full of making stuff. Shortly after making my horrendously long, which I apologize for, daily map, I sat down and I made the final map for my new D&D campaign, and it wound up being a little bit involved. I feel like showing it off, so you're gonna get to see some of the hundreds, if not thousands, of trees that I've placed down in my campaign setting now, and I think it looks great. I was super inspired by the map I made yesterday, including like the land style, the tree style. That being said, I have a very serious hatred now for placing trees. And so I think today we're gonna take it easy. We're gonna make a dungeon map. I don't know what the map wizard is. Let's start with the map wizard. Let's see if there's some sort of way to do as little work as possible. Oh. Generator. Oh, there's a generator. Cave generator. That's what I want. I want a cave generator. Complexity. We want low complexity. What's boundary here? What happens when we up that? What if I just crank that up? I want to see what the... I'm not sure what boundary does. Really, I'm not. If I set it to really low, does it... Alright. Then density. We want it to be less dense. Oh. Is boundary the size of the rooms? Oops. That's not what I wanted. Can I Control Z and get back to the map editor? Is there a way to get back to that menu? It doesn't look like it. So, this is one thing to do. Make a new map. Start with the map wizard. Cave generator. Maybe if I hover over boundary, it'll just tell me what it does. Nope. Okay. So, the thing about these caves is that while they're cool, they're not big enough. They're not thick enough to work in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Oh wow. I mean, this is something kind of interesting. This is a big room, so maybe density is what we're looking for. But I mean, this is looking like a bit of a bust. Yeah, this tool's a bit of a bust. So let's once again create a new world. Let's actually even shrink this down to like 45 by 35. Let's not start with the map wizard. We're gonna say okay. We want to go ahead to the design tool. We want to use the cave brush because I believe that this will allow us to just paint our cave. So we have to figure out a cave entrance. Where is the party going to come in? Are they going to come in from... Maybe this is a cellar. Maybe this is a cellar. And so they'll come into a room like this. Room just like that. And then maybe they'll have two different ways to go. Maybe they'll have one that goes this way, and then they'll have one that goes this way. This room here will open into a large cavern, just like that, and we will. We're gonna create the details in this room a little bit later. We're not gonna worry too much about that right now. Just gotta get that done, and then this is gonna kind of go in here, and then this one's gonna be a slightly smaller room down here. Just like that. It will also go up here, and then in the middle here, we're gonna have a kind of the final room here. Maybe it even goes like this. And there's something down here. You know, I think I already know what's down in this corner. So really quickly, while I have the idea fresh in my head, let's go to the Objects tool. Let's go to There has to be a way to search these items. I have to be doing something wrong. I refuse to believe that, I mean, there's a symbol search in, I guess I could use the tags here. So, is there? I want stairs. That's kind of what I'm looking for here. Is stairs, but previously used. No, all. The stairs were kind of all in one spot. Yeah, here they are. Here's all the stairs. Here's some nice stone steps. Right clicks in 90-degree turn. So we're just going to go ahead and make a staircase here. Goes up. And so if we zoom into 100% just to see what our players are going to see, we can make that look like that. And perfect. Now I want to go back to the terrain tool, the cave brush tool. Last open. But oh. Is that? Oh, okay, that deletes the walls. Good to know. Don't want to delete the walls right now. Show blasted area. That's good to know that I had missed that. So is there an erase? Alt is to erase. So really quickly, let's just go ahead and trace out a section here that's going to be erased. Excuse me. Excuse me. Would like to erase. Oh, probably because I'm not on dig cave. There we go. There we go. So we're just going to do something like that, and we're going to do something like this. And then we're going to go back to the draw mode, and we're just going to fix our work a little bit, give the players something a little more interesting to fight in, because this is going to be a combat cave, as most caves in Dungeons & Dragons are. Yeah, maybe we can even make this even thinner. We can hold down Alt, and we can give them a little bit of another area here. Then we can sharpen just a little bit of that, just like that. And then maybe we hit Alt and we click like that. Then we make sure that there's there we go. And make sure that there's ways of passage. In over here, I actually have an idea for that back cave that requires there to be no walls. That being said, I do kind of want to take a little bit off the side here. Just kind of do that. Maybe I did a little too much. Let's put some back. Over here, I actually want to shrink the brush for this one because this is a much smaller room. I do want to kind of come up with a little squiggle. And that looks like it's an entrance to a different location, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to delete that. And I want the wall to be visible, so I just want to go through and I want to erase down here. And I want to erase up here as well. That looks good. This room, I want to kind of cut out some little thin hallways, make sure once again that there's just ways to get through everywhere. Make some interesting shape. Like that. And in this starting room, we'll once again do something a little bit different. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think it should be a little bit thinner. I think maybe there should be a big hole in the middle of it. Give the players somewhere to move around back here. We are going to then go to the water brush, and I'm wondering if I can. Yeah, I can just paint the water on, and I'm going to make an underwater cave. And I wanted it to be a little bit darker because this is a cave. So there we go. That looks cave watery. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start from the back here under this wall. And we're just going to slowly paint in. Oops. You know, to be honest, nobody's going to notice the fact that the water is underneath the wall except for me and you because you've watched me make it. And we can be bothered by it, but the players certainly won't be. So we don't have to worry about that. And then we just kind of squiggle it across here, and we create a little bit of an underground lake. Just like that. And then maybe this is where the denizens of this lake keep some sort of beast that they that they want to use on the adventurers, and add some floor sticking up through this just because it gives a really nice effect. We'll add some other stuff to this when we get into symbols, but I think that that's pretty good for a little detail there. So now let's get into the objects, and I'm just going to be going off of inspiration, the most important of things. So what have we here? We've got a fire. We need a fire somewhere in here for sure. And this fire is 5 foot by 5 foot, so it's a sizable fire. You know what? This looks like an area that there would be a fire. This looks like the main area the bandits would hide in, or not the bandits, maybe the goblins. If not the goblins, then maybe the hobgoblins. And then you got these tents here, and then maybe so this is their barracks. Maybe this is their barracks. So Z and the scroll wheel slow rotate. So let's just go ahead and move some of these goblin huts, these tents, into the cave here. Maybe there's another one up here. So, this is where they live, the beasts of the caves. And let's just select all these rocks. Alright, I need to go to the scatter tool for that. Let's select all these rocks, and let's give this cave a couple of rocks. Let's turn off snap to grid, because that's not really conducive to placing things down properly. And let's just give everywhere a little scattering of rock. Those rocks look nice. Let's push the scale up a little bit. Maybe get some bigger rocks in here. I mean, it's a cave. It's supposed to be cramped and dank and hard to maneuver. And I mean, these small rocks probably wouldn't make it very challenging to live, but the larger rocks certainly would throw a damper on things. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to add some rock here. We're going to add some pebble over here, some rubble. We still have to come up with the cave entrance, how the players got down here. Let's remove that from the water, because it doesn't quite look right to me, which is fine. It's fine to not look right. And actually, speaking of not looking right, the corners of this wall look... Oh, I'm drawing again, because it's the erase. Excuse me. Big cave. Oh, wait, no, I didn't want to erase. I wanted to draw. That is a rookie mistake. Is the opening to this cave doesn't look very natural. It looks like a doorway. So the way that we do that is we shave off some of the sharp corners here. We make them look a little bit rounded, so I'm going to just go through and I'm going to round all these corners off, make it seem like... You know what we can actually do is we can do something like this. That is completely wrong. Something like that, make it look a little bit more... although I actually think that maybe I don't want that on that side, maybe I want that on this side, kind of behind the goblin huts. We can do another one of those little walkways right here. This just gives the impression that this is a natural cave formation. This doesn't have hallways; it has tunnels. Maybe this tunnel was dug out by hand. Maybe this tunnel was dug out by hand, but still, a lot of this area is unclaimed. It's nature. Nature does not have right angles. Very rarely will you find a right angle in nature. And so there we go. Let's go back to our scatter tool. Let's go back to our pile of rocks, and let's just keep placing rocks down. You know, this room over here is so cramped I don't really want to add a bunch of big rocks, so maybe I'll switch it to the pebbles only when I'm doing that. Want to add some fluff here. Maybe we can say that these rocks are difficult terrain. And you know what we can do here actually is take some of these larger rocks and make this area here a cave-in. But we can also say that if the players come up with a creative solution, that they might be able to get through this way. Maybe they have stone shape. Maybe they have a stick of dynamite or something, and the whoever lives in this cave wouldn't be expecting them to go through the cave in and find the beast cavern, like the basilisk's cave or whatever. I also have noticed as well that, oops, I want to go to the water tool, not the cave tool. Terrain, water brush, and we're just gonna click, alt click, maybe go one size smaller, alt click, because I didn't like how square that was. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna click some water. We're gonna peel that back a little bit. We're gonna take some bites out of that, and I've made it a square again. There we go. That'll help a lot. So that's about all the stones that we need to place. Let's go back to object mode and let's get inspired again. These huts are good enough. We don't need more huts. Don't need more rocks. Ooh, you know, maybe what we'll have in maybe we'll go back to the scatter tool. Maybe we'll go down a little bit and we'll take these crystals here. And maybe the reason why this mine is so useful, is so sought after by whoever lives here, is because this room is full of these little geodes. And maybe these geodes are powerful magic stones that are used in the crafting of magical gear. Maybe they're like binding stones that help. That help bind magics to items, and so they're harvesting this, or somebody was harvesting this. That staircase here leads up to like a mine house or something, like a guardhouse, and the players are hired, or they're incentivized to go, and they are going to re-clear this. Maybe the artisan who makes the magic items, maybe an elvish man who makes fine swords, says, please, I will make you one of these weapons. I will give you this amazing sword. Maybe it's a +2 sword or something. If you go and you clear out the mine and you get my focus crystals back from the hands of these dastardly folk who have moved in down here and disturbed my work. And maybe the sword is made of these red crystal. Maybe it's something like that. Pit. I did actually want there to be a pit somewhere, because I thought it would be a fun encounter mechanic, but the more that I'm looking at this place, the more that I'm realizing that maybe there's no more room for a nice pit. Or you know what we could do? We could, first off, let's joink the scale up, maybe not to 4, maybe to 2. Maybe we swallow that rock a little bit, and we block this way off with these holes that reach down to the center of the earth. And maybe over here there's a trap. Maybe over here there's a big trap, and then this is the safe way to get through. If you can get somebody over this, which would not be too hard, but not be too easy either. If you can get somebody over these pits, then you can get a good flanking angle. But this is like a dice check, an acrobatics check, and maybe there's something real nasty at the bottom of these pits. Maybe you don't even see the bottom of those pits, and maybe this makes somebody disappear, and maybe they have to go. Maybe the party has to go on an adventure to find that person. And to that end, maybe I'll add another thing right here. Once again, I want to go to the object tool. Once again, I want to find myself those stairs. And is this a trap door? Yes, it is. That's a cage. Do they have like a metal trap door? That would be lovely for me right now, is a metal trap door, but I don't think they have one, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to use We're gonna go ahead and use this trapdoor. We're gonna put it below the water, and we are going to we're gonna spin this around like that. And put that in the water and hope that our players don't notice it, but you know, I like to leave little visual cues on my map for my players where it's like, hey, if you find it, then have at it. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna set our scale back to 1 because we don't need food bags the size of a Tarask. But we're just gonna stack up some grain, just like that. Show that there's some people who are living down here, and maybe they've got a box of food. Oh, you know what we can do though, to be real mean, is to cover the. Oh, I put them underneath the water because I'm still on the wrong. Screen here. We're gonna go back to the scatter tool. We are gonna go scrolling our way down. I did want to add this, which is a waterfall. I wanted to scale that waterfall up. Means that I have to go back to object mode. This is kind of annoying that you can't just toggle between the two, or they're not baked into each other, because I have to constantly switch back and forth, and then I have to go find it. I also don't know why the waterfall is red compared to the rest of the place, which is not red. That's very annoying. Alt scroll is scale, and we want this to be huge. We want this to be as big as possible here, because we want to obstruct our player's vision of what is under this waterfall, which is a trapdoor that goes down to a separate cavern, which is maybe this wizard, this enchanter's secret lair, where he keeps something that maybe he doesn't want the world to know he has. Maybe this pegs him as a villain. Maybe this pegs him as somebody who is not a good person. Maybe the weird thing that they find inside of this river, or inside of this underground lake, is his pet that he's left. So we're gonna add some swirls in the water, just like that, and just like that. I mean, even without the lily pads, it's hard to see that trapdoor. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna add the lily pads anyways, because we have to get over down to the grass textures. We're gonna take the lily pads. We're gonna scale them like 2 to 3 times here, and there's some nice big lily pads here. Because if you've ever actually been to a lake, lily pads are freaking huge. I'm sorry, I'm kind of like losing my voice because I've been recording so many videos and I've been talking to so many people over the last day. I had a business meeting yesterday that I was talking for like 4 hours. I hung out with my friends who are going to be playing D&D with me, and I was talking to them about the characters and their backstories and all that cool stuff. I was making the map. So my voice is a bit cracky, a bit shot. So I apologize, but I like that. See, now if you look at this and you didn't know that there was a trapdoor underneath that waterfall, you wouldn't see it. But if you really look for it, you can see that it's in there. And I think that that's really cool. We're going to take some of our favorite vegetation here, and I want to set this back to 1. I want to set this back to 1. I want to click, I want to undo. And I kind of want to show that, hey, even though this is underground, and maybe instead of weeds this time, these ferns are alchemical herbs that this guy has been growing down here. This wizard has been growing down in the Crystal Cavern. Maybe that's what we call this map, is the Crystal Cavern of the name of this wizard. The Crystal Cavern of Aldiorath or something. And it's a whole adventure where the parties goes down, and maybe this is really devious. Maybe this is a portal to the Underdark. Maybe if they fall through here, they wind up in the very, very shallow areas of the Underdark. And maybe they learn that Aldiorath is a mind flayer in disguise. Ooh. And they have to wrestle with that, and they have to, like, well, I mean, do we help this guy? Do we turn him into the kingdom? Do we try to fight him? Do we try to make an alliance with him and say, like, hey, not all mind flayers are psychopathic brain slurpers? Just most of them. And we don't stereotype here, so maybe we'll give him a shot. Maybe we'll give this guy a shot. Now I guess we want to go back to layer 1, and I want to just use the tiny little weeds to add some texture. And that right there, if you zoom into 100%, which is about here, that looks like a battle room with some sort of bog creature that comes from this place. And yeah, it's totally, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cover a little bit more of that up. I'm gonna go under the water with some of these plants, and I'm just gonna cover the door with it a little bit so that you can still see it poking through, but it's very hard. And maybe you see maybe it's a dice check to go in. And waterfalls are also naturally a very tempting thing to go search behind, because everyone's heard the stories of the treasure hidden behind the waterfall. So if you describe the room as having a large cascade of water falling from the ceiling and draining into a large pit, $5 says that your players will say, you know what I do? I look behind that waterfall. You know what they'll find there? Nothing. But if they dive under the water, then they will find a trapdoor leading to mysterious places and interesting adventures. And I think it'd be cool that maybe these crystals have a powerful force of life associated with them, and as such, while normally this cave is bleak and dank and disgusting and not a preferable place to live, around these crystals, maybe it's just a little bit of green poking through. Maybe there's some... Where's the zoom level? 100%. So yeah, maybe there's some green poking through the bottoms of the cave here. And we're not going to use this, but we are going to use our mushrooms. This sounds like a good idea. Maybe just the top-down mushrooms. Maybe not the mushrooms on their side. We're gonna use a scale of like 0.75 here. I want some. These mushrooms are humongous. Are all of them like that, or is it just the? All these are very, very large, so we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do something even lower, like 0.25. There we go. This is more like what I'd imagine mushrooms to look like here. And then I think I'm actually still on below water. I am. And let's brighten these up a little bit. Let's make them really colorful. And then now these are far too small, so we're gonna go ahead and do like 0.5. And then they're gonna be, yep, way too, right back to way too big again. But that's okay. Got some bright mushrooms, we've got some dull mushrooms. Maybe if somebody in the party has an herbalism kit, they can discern that these mushrooms are poisonous, and they can make a rudimentary poison of flatulation out of them, which will make their enemies have horrendous gastrointestinal turmoil during their battle. And it's already been 30 minutes making this map, which I wanted to do a short map today, but here I am spending 30 minutes doing another one. Let's go ahead and really quickly go to the object tool. Let's go ahead and make the entrance down to the entrance down into the cave, which is going to, I wish that there was like a ladder. Is this a ladder? Small steps, that's not a ladder. A pillar, spiral staircase. I think a spiral staircase. That doesn't look like a staircase to me. This looks like a staircase. Maybe they're made of like an old rotting wood, and they come down into this area, this dank area. And you know what we're gonna do? We are going to go to the objects again. We're gonna go back to our holes. I like those holes. Where are holes? You know, I've used a lot here, and I've used the holes. So let's do something like that. Because I think if there's a hole in the room where they come down, they'll be more likely to say, "Oh wow, that's scary. This is a dangerous place we find ourselves in. Maybe we should be cautious." We want them to be cautious. And of course, if bandits are set up here, there's going to be traps. There could easily be a trap here. There could easily be a trap right here. There would be a trap right here because this area is pretty locked off. They might have a guard. If they knew the players were coming, they might have a guard here who's firing arrows over here, and they're forcing them into this area with a trap that you cannot disable very easily, without getting up to it. And getting up to it requires getting in the light of the fire, close to the bandit patrols or the patrol of the people who are in here, whatever they wind up being. But let's get inspired a couple more times before we're done here. Let's see if there's anything left to do. Cobwebs, I'm not really a fan of. Rubble doesn't really matter. Dead people? No, not really. Beds, we already have the tents. Table, we can do a table in this area here. Desk here. I'm looking for like a dining table almost, but frustratingly, it's hard to find a dining table. We've got these benches here that are massive. Let's shrink those back down to human size, and maybe we'll add a bench right here that they can sit on. Maybe we'll add a bench back here that they've been sitting on. Maybe another one over here. And then here this small table. So maybe when the players come down, I think I like this one better. There's some bandits playing cards on the table here, and the table comes with chairs, so there's really no reason to do anything else about that. And then this leads up into the above ground mausoleum that this guy runs. And so the leader of whoever these are would be up here, and so the party would be tasked in finding that, but they could also go down here and they could find a secret, mysterious place for this, and get more information maybe about who's here, or maybe who the person who hired them is. But yeah, let's we don't need a toilet. I mean, they might need a toilet, but we don't need them to have needed a toilet. An anchor wouldn't make sense. All these ship parts wouldn't make sense. Hay wouldn't really make sense unless they kept horses down here, which, why would you keep horses down there? A fountain, a fresh water source would be interesting. Although this area here would be fresh water. Maybe that's why it's here. So actually, maybe we'll use these dragon head statues as kind of like a cool little detail. And here are the ladders that I was looking for before. But honestly, the spiral staircase makes sense for what I want to do with it. A bunch of posts, a bunch of stairs, a bunch of barrels and supplies, a bunch of grass, a bunch of weeds, a bunch of brambles, a bunch of trees, and a cart. So looking through, I'm not really seeing anything else, and this battle map is already complex enough to be used in Dungeons & Dragons. So then it's just a matter of building encounters, and maybe this room, they come in, and maybe there's a sentry or two posted in this room because they know that this is an exit into the world outside. And so the players come down, and instead of fighting them, these scouts run back into the cave. They run further into the cave, and they raise the alarm. Suddenly their surprise is gone, unless they come up with a unique situation in which they can avoid this detection. Maybe we go into here, and we've got the trap here. We've got multiple ranged enemies situated around here, which pepper them as they charge forwards, incentivizing the players to go through the secret passage over here. But the players, being players, are able to push through. They're able to disarm this trap or take a casualty to it, or push around the side and flank, and they find this main living area of whoever is down here. They get into a scrap, and they find some information, maybe on this table, maybe in these sacks, maybe under these benches, on who these people are and why they're here. But they don't really find anybody who's a serious threat. Then they go into this crystal room, and there's a couple more people here, and they learn that if they cast magic in these rooms, the crystals explode. Oh god. And if you're within 10 feet of a crystal, if you're within 2 tiles of a crystal, these exploding crystals will deal a d10 in damage to you. if you fail, say, a dexterity saving throw. So the people who the leader of these invaders has put in here are martial classes. They're classes that cannot do magic damage, and that's going to be how that encounter works. And then pushing on into the swamp or this marsh over here, there is a guardian beast that has been left here by by this mind flayer wizard who's hired you to come in here with this portal to the Underdark underneath the water. And if the party attacks it, then it will attack back. If the party doesn't attack it, maybe it can become a skill challenge or a skill encounter. But if they do battle with this beast and they search the lake and they have a high DC, they'll find a trapdoor underneath the waterfall that goes into another cavern underneath. Or they could leave and they could go up to the mausoleum, which is the wizard's tower of the person who makes this place. So basically what's happened is the wizard, the enchanter, has hired the adventurers. He says, hey, we can't go in the front door. They're too powerful. They're too well guarded. They're too well warded by my magics. That I do not dare pull down my defensive magics, because if I pull down my defensive magics, the bandits on the inside will gain access to all of my secret research. And it's very dangerous. Even if they don't understand it, they could destroy the world with it. So I can't reduce my warding magics. But I did leave a failsafe in case this happens. There is a shed off in the hills, and in that shed there is a staircase. If you follow that staircase down, you will come to one of my subterranean mines, my crystal mine, that I use to gather the materials for my enchanting. If you go there and you clear that out, you'll find an entrance into my mausoleum, into my wizard's tower, in which you must fight to the summit. You must defeat the guards inside of it. You must reclaim the focus that is locking the door, and you must let me in so that I may resume my work. And this is the first map to that adventure. This would be played like almost an AD&D dungeon crawl style, which would be super cool. Where there's like maybe 10 stories of Wizard's Tower, and there's the area down here, and maybe one of those stories has a teleportation network that allows the players to go out and unlock and like sell and purchase and go do something else and then come back. But that's a story for a different day. That's just a cool idea that I had while working on this map, and that's one of the reasons why I love the daily maps, is because it gives me the opportunity to sit down and think of a whole adventure that I could run for my players or that I could write for other players. And so, with that, I think we are done. As always, the maps that I make on Daily Map are free for you to use, and I will leave a full resolution download in the description of this video. The link will go to Imgur, or Imager, whichever one you want to call it, the image hosting platform, so you can ensure that the image that I host there is virus-free. If you enjoyed the video, please give a thumbs up, and hey, while you're here, maybe check out some of the other daily maps that I've made on the channel. If you want to see a map made every single day, as well as my prep for my adventures in Dungeons & Dragons, or any other fantasy role-playing game, feel free to subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and have an amazing